Hello and welcome to the Overflow podcast. My name is Craig Booker. The title of this episode is Discipline is Not a Dirty Word. Again, a lot of this material is from Pastor Craig Rochelle's book, The Power to Change, Mastering the Habits That Matter Most. So we're going through, as you know, we're going through Pastor Craig Rochelle's book on the power to change. The title is Discipline is Not a Dirty Word. The opening quote, discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. And that's from Craig Rochelle. A recap from last week, we discussed training versus trying. Trying doesn't work, training does. Trying is an attempt to do the right thing by exerting effort in the moment. Training is a commitment to strategic habits you do before the moment that equip you to do the right thing in the moment. So that is a summary of last week. In order to embrace training versus trying, it will require discipline. Depending on your interpretation, your experiences growing up as a child, you will probably know that discipline is painful. It's not something that we typically are really excited about. At least I'm not. I don't hear the word discipline and get really excited. And here's a verse in Hebrews 12:11 from the New Living Translation that says, "No discipline is enjoyable while it's happening. It's painful, but afterwards there will be a peaceful harvest of right living for those who are trained in this way." So here it is in Hebrews that it is telling us that discipline is painful. So you may think, depending on your upbringing and what your experiences were growing up, discipline might have meant making your bed. It might have been doing chores every day or every week. Getting to school on time definitely takes discipline when you're a kid. Another quote from Craig Rochelle, it says, "You are going to experience pain. Discipline may feel painful, but if you don't live a disciplined life, you will experience the pain of regret." Pastor Craig goes on to say, not choosing what you want now feels painful, but if you do choose what you want now, you will later experience the pain of not having what you want most. So he kind of compares and contrasts, having what you want now versus having what you want most in your life. And so I titled this section, Choose Your Pain. You're either going to have the pain of discipline, the pain of not getting what you want now, or you're going to have the pain of regret, not having what you want most. So these are two types of pain that we're all going to experience in our life. It's just a matter of, do you want what you want now, or do you want to experience the regret of not getting what you want most in your life? Another quote from Craig Rochelle is, "Desire alone won't get you what you want most, but discipline will." You might say, but I'm not a disciplined person. If you look at your life and you're thinking about your own self, you may think, I'm just not disciplined. What am I going to do? You say that I'm going to need discipline, but I'm not a disciplined person. So you're asking me to be something I'm not. And I understand this thought process because, reading through this material, going over it, I'm thinking much the same thing, right? I don't really feel like much of a disciplined person. And so I really understand that feeling if you're struggling with that. But the truth is that it's just not true that you're not disciplined. When most people consider whether or not they are disciplined, they tend to focus on the areas of their lives where they lack discipline. So they're looking at the worst parts of their life where maybe they want to improve things, and that's what they're focusing on. So I ask the question, how do I know this? This is me. I tend, when I think about me being a disciplined person, I see all the areas I want to change, yet have failed to do so. And I'd bet you do something similar. We tend to focus on the areas we fall short on. And I think that's just kind of in our nature when we're thinking about that subject. But the truth is that you are disciplined. Just let that sink in. You are disciplined. I am disciplined. In his book, Pastor Craig says, think of discipline as choosing to do what's important to you. So think of discipline as choosing to do what's important to you. You repeatedly do some things that are important to you. You eat, you sleep. Those are disciplines. But that was the end of the quote. There's a good chance you also do certain disciplines that aren't good for you. These disciplines are not helping you and could be hurting you. So we're going through this material and we're kind of reframing what discipline is and helping us re-see that we all have areas where we are disciplined. If you look at areas of your life where you find success, you will find discipline. In his examples, he was talking about, eating and sleeping. Now, we may not be very good initially at getting good quality sleep, but we still have disciplines that we go to bed relatively at the same time every night. We eat at, close to the same times for meals every day. So those are disciplines. So we have to kind of rethink how we're looking at discipline and see the areas where we have discipline in our life, because it helps us to see that we are disciplined people and we can become disciplined in other areas. There's a good chance that you also have certain disciplines that aren't good for you. And these disciplines are not helping you and could be hurting you. Some examples of these are maybe overeating when you're stressed. Maybe you're binging hours of TV, like you're watching hours on end of TV when you really desire relationships with other people. Maybe you're ruminating on all the worst case scenarios when you're stressed out. You're thinking of all the bad things that could happen. The behavior is just filling you with anxiety. Maybe you're checking your doors, your locks multiple times before you go to bed just to make sure you're safe. These are also disciplines. All of these things. They're not really positive disciplines, but they are disciplines. Another quote from Craig Groeschel: your desires don't determine who you become. Your disciplines do. So I put a note in here about my examples. I certainly have been guilty of those last two examples, right? We're talking about mental health and we're looking at how this material in The Power to Change applies to mental health. And I have been guilty of those last two examples. That is a part of my anxiety. And that is not a positive discipline that I've had, but I want to acknowledge that I know how difficult it is to stop those particular disciplines. I'm not trying to shame anyone or make anyone feel bad for those. I listed those because those were something that I related to. That was a discipline that was not helping me. And I know there's a lot of things that go behind all of those examples, and I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad for them. I'm just trying to point out that those are disciplines, that it's possible to change those disciplines. So I just want to qualify those. I want to help people see that those behaviors, those are disciplines just that aren't helping us. The more that I rethink the way I view discipline, the less it's a negative thing for me. And I hope it will be for other people too. And I hope these examples will help you see discipline in a better light. Towards the end of this chapter, Pastor Craig has an exercise, right? And we're just going to go over the high points of this in your own time in your week. If you choose, you can go through this exercise on your own. I'm happy to field any kind of emails if you have questions or want to share the results of going through this exercise. We're talking about discipline and recognizing the disciplines we already have in our lives, whether they're positive or negative. Maybe places we're already finding success because we have disciplines already set up. And so this exercise says, identify the top 3 areas in your life where you feel you lack discipline. Okay, so this first one is looking at places or the top 3 places that you lack discipline. And then the second part is next, identify the top 3 areas in your life where you exhibit the most discipline. 2 different questions, basically one where you're lacking, 3 areas where you feel like you lack discipline. On the other hand, the second one is areas where you feel like you are showing discipline, where you're being successful. In the parts of your life where you're choosing what you want now over what you want most, write down your reasons for why you may be putting off the pain of discipline and risking the pain of regret. Here are some examples they provided in the book. It says, I'm just too tired to be consistent in disciplining my kids. Second one was, I'm healthy right now, so I have time to start working out down the road. So those were examples of areas where maybe they're lacking discipline, and then their reasoning behind it, right? Why they think they're choosing what they want now over what they want most. In the areas where you believe you lack discipline, what is the biggest positive change that could come if you choose some pain today over putting it off until tomorrow? So that's the exercise. I hope you guys will take time this week and go through that. Hopefully that'll provide some insight for you into establishing some new positive disciplines in areas where you feel like you're just lacking, you're coming up short. The principle for this section of the book is discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. The path to public success is always paved with private discipline. Again, this is from Pastor Craig's book. It says the path to public success is always paved with private discipline. The Hebrews 12:11 in the New Living Translation says, no discipline is enjoyable while it's happening. It's painful, but afterward there will be a peaceful harvest of right living for those who are trained in this way. That's all for this episode. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes.